For this next one, let's copy the remove from list item because we still want to create our own list item. And for this test, we're going to say, can mark a list item as read. So we have a list item already, and instead of clicking on the remove from list, we're going to click on mark as read. So this will be our mark as read button. We'll click on that mark as read button, but we can't mark it as read if it has already been marked as read. So let's make sure when we build our list item that not only do we have an owner and a book, but we also have a finish date that's set to null. And that way we know that it's not been read yet. So then we can click on this mark as read. We'll wait for the loading state to go away, and then we'll verify that now mark as unread appears in the document and simply mark as read does not. So let's save that and make sure of that. And yes, our test is passing, but there's a little bit more to it than this. We do already have a test up here that verifies that the start date is what we expect it to be when we add something to our list. But when we mark something as read, it changes that from a start date to a start and finish date. So let's add an assertion for that right here. And so instead of start date node, this is going to be our start and finish date node. And here, instead of looking for start date, it's going to be start and finish date. And then our text content's going to be a little bit different. Let's just save this and see where we're at with the error message that we get. And actually that does pass because it does have this text in it, but it has a little bit more. So let's grab this and we'll do a screen.debug of the start and finish date node so that we can see what that actually looks like. And here we have the start date and the finish date. So I'm going to copy that and we'll paste it right here. And yeah, we'll just trim it up and that should be good, right? November of 2019 to June of 2020. Now, wait a second. Now it says March. Oh, that's right. So what's going on here is the start date is not being set. And so that start date is going to be generated for us by build list item. And also tomorrow, this test is going to fail. So we don't want to do that. Let's make this a little bit more foolproof by using that format date functionality with date.now for that finish date. And then for the start date here, we can actually just say format date list item start date. And then we're going to need to grab that list item when we create it right here. Great. So now it basically says, hey, the start and finish date node should have the formatted version of the list item start date along with today's formatted date because today is the day we clicked on mark as read button. So things are looking super awesome. Let's get rid of that screen debug and review what we've got. So here we still wanted to create our own user and book so that we could create a list item that's associated to the user and book. And then we also specified a finish date so that this list item would not be marked as finished, so that we could then say mark as read and click on that, wait for the loading state to finish when we're finished clicking on that, and then verify that the mark is unread button shows up now. We also have the start and finish date node with the properly formatted dates, and we have mark as read is no longer in the document.